The film opens with the voice of a parasitic virus called the worm flu being reported on the news. The virus is said to be transmitted only through blood, and its common symptoms are an increase in appetite, coughing blood, and having seizures. The scenes then switch to our lead, Emma, getting approached by her friend Gracie, who complains about feeling hungry even after eating. During her science class, while having difficulty dissecting a frog, Emma gets a text from her sister, Stacey, who requires her help in the bathroom after experiencing unannounced menstruation, so she goes there to help her. After school, Stacey introduces Emma with her new boyfriend, CJ, and purposefully offers Evan a ride home with their dad in order to bring him closer to Emma. On their way home, their mother calls and announces that she's still stuck in Kansas due to work, while the family has shifted to a new county in the state of California. They stop by their house in a peaceful suburb, where Evan is their adjacent neighbor, living with his stepfather. Stacey and her father end up quarreling on the dinner table, which raises suspicions in Emma regarding why their mother is no longer with them. That night, she is interrupted by a paper plane thrown by Evan, so she writes her number on it and throws it out of the window. The paper plane gets stuck in the tree, so she walks down to get it. She spots her father looking stressed out, so after having her moment with Evan, she comes back in and asks if he's doing fine. It is revealed from their conversation that his father has been demoted from teaching PhD candidates to high school kids in Emma's school. The next day, at school, Emma's father shows the students a YouTube video about parasitic worms during their lecture. Suddenly, Gracie coughs blood for the first time and runs out of the class. Emma's father sends her after Gracie, whom she spots outside the cafeteria having a seizure. Another kid comes to help, but Gracie faints. Emma runs to get the nurse, but in the meantime, Gracie wakes up and does no good to the kid. The nurse checks Emma and asks some specific questions, through which she finds out Gracie's infected with worm flu. Suddenly, the school announces a day off, and the news channels also start highlighting the spread of the virus. Emma's mother takes an immediate flight to meet the girls out of concern. The father goes to pick his wife, leaving the girls with their next-door neighbor, who gives them a ride home. At home, she looks up the virus and leaves Gracie voice calls. She spots a helicopter carrying a medical box. The father finally calls Emma and updates her on the roads that have been blocked, due to which he can't move forward to the airport or come back. Hence, he asks the girls to stay at home and not have any boys over. At night, Stacey has CJ over, against her father's rules. Emma surfs on social media afterwards and finds a conspiracy video about the virus pinned under Gracie's recently updated picture. The next morning, a truck drops 2 boxes to everyone's doorstep in the neighborhood. Upon opening them, Emma finds some medical masks, flares, and dehydrated food. CJ and Stacey don't take this seriously and tell Emma to lighten up. The following night, Stacey leaves for a party with CJ and leaves a message to Evan from Emma's phone, inviting him to the party. So Emma puts on a mask and attends the event for Evan's sake. When she realizes no one is taking preventative measures against the contagious virus, she also takes off her mask and dances with Evan. Evan decides to take Emma upstairs, which is still under construction. They pass by a kid containing the virus but don't spot him. Upstairs, the two spot Stacey's friend Meat riding someone in the room, so they occupy the bathroom for privacy. Before they can kiss, they hear Stacey yelling and shouting. When they walk out, they find out her friend was Meat riding none other than CJ. Emma goes to her sister and tries to comfort her, but things go south when the contagious kid openly starts attacking people. Everyone rushes outside while Emma and Stacey hide behind a cardboard wall, where they witness the contagious kid attacking and obliterating an innocent girl. The sisters try to escape, but the kid finds them and purposefully coughs blood on Stacey's face. When he comes at Emma, Evan knocks him out with a wood log from behind. In a matter of seconds, a worm from the blood splattered on Stacey's face travels inside her eyelids and infects her. At home, Stacey washes off the blood while crying and grows silent. The sisters sleep together for the night and are woken up in the morning by a loud bang. A team sent by the government scans Emma and Stacey for any signs of virus transmission after coming in contact with the contagious kid. When they ask Stacey, she lies about not coming in any kind of contact with the contaminated. The following day, their father calls in a hurry and tells them to keep the house doors and windows locked. He's still stuck and hasn't reached the airport yet. He also tells Stacey to find his gun and keep it with her at all times for safety. Suddenly, the calls gets hanged up and all kinds of signals get lost. A warning issued by the government is aired on live television, imposing a martial law in the infected regions. While looking for the gun, Emma finds her mother's wedding ring in the old picture box and starts suspecting her parents have separated, but Stacey chooses not to speak on this matter. Stacey finds the gun and takes it with her. Meanwhile, Emma witnesses her neighbor lighting up a flare to signal the military. They show up in no time, and instead of helping him, they take away his wife and mark the house checked with a red spray paint. Stacey decides to leave the county, so Emma tries to contact Evan while standing outside his window, but his stepfather closes the curtains. In the middle of a secluded road, the girls are caught at the military post and warned to head back. Another car tries to cross the post, but they shoot at the car, so the girls get scared and head back home. The next morning, as Stacey can feel the worm nesting at the back of her neck, a military truck patrols in their neighborhood, alerting people that hiding or not reporting the infected victims has officially become a crime. Stacey takes pressure hearing this and tries to take out the worm using a safety pin, but it causes her great pain. The following night, she finally confesses to Emma at the dinner table that their father cheated on their mother with a grad student, which is why their mother left him and he got demoted. Emma becomes hurt, but doesn't get much to express herself since Evan shows up vigorously knocking at their door. Emma lets him in and finds out that his father's infection has reached borderline and has gone blind. He comes after Evan from the door and spits blood on it while Emma is taking a peep at him from the small hole in the door. He then breaks in from the side window and tries to attack Emma, but Stacey shoots him down. Simultaneously, she falls to the ground due to a seizure and faints. Emma and Evan, upon finding she's severely infected, lock her up in the bathroom. When she gains consciousness, she cries to be fed, but Emma chooses to keep her starved in order for the worm to stop growing and nesting inside her. Evan is against keeping Stacey around and is afraid of the military, so Emma takes a red spray paint and marks her house checked in order to prevent the military from checking their place. That night, Stacey cries and confesses that she can feel the virus taking over her. She asks Emma to leave, but Emma chooses to stay by her side. She researches on how to remove the worm from Stacey by watching videos and reading textbooks her father used in that one lecture. She climbs up the roof to get any cellular signals, but it doesn't work out. When Evan shows up, she cries and expresses her fear of losing her parents as well as Emma, so he hugs and consoles her. Meanwhile, CJ breaks into their house to pick Stacey up before the evacuation. Stacey lures him and bites his arm off. When Emma and Evan come down, they find CJ dead. Evan buries him in the backyard next to his father. Emma mixes sleeping pills in Stacey's food and gives it to her. Once she's knocked out, she opens the door and uses her father's told method to remove the nasty worm from Stacey's neck, but she wakes up and removes it herself while it wraps around her wrist. Half of the worm falls to the floor, which Evan immediately stomps on. They bring Stacey to her room, assuming she's fine, and feed her soup. The army announces an immediate evacuation in the county. The next morning, Emma dreams about Stacey getting infected once again. When she wakes up, Evan shows her the food cabinets that have now gone empty. They watch Stacey run out of the house, so they go after her. She runs inside a house in particular. Emma and Evan find dead bodies in the hall, and upon searching the storage room, they find a group of infected victims on standby mode, and their worms mingling with one another. They mistakenly interrupt them and have them chase them all around the house. They end up locking themselves in a room for safety and find Stacey there. She cries in pain and asks to be shot, but Emma refuses to. When Stacey loses control and attacks Emma, she ends up shooting her. As she cries for her, Evan takes her outside the window and makes her climb to the roof, from where they spot the military jets dropping bombs to get rid of the contaminated region. They end up jumping into the pool to save themselves. Once the entire county is bombed down, the two walk out as the only survivors and reach the nearest military post, which has been abandoned. There, Emma finds a picture of her family taped to a glass window, behind which her father has left a note to the sisters, telling them to head to their uncle's home in Washington where he's staying. She gets relieved to see the messages and takes an abandoned car with Evan to head out. The film ends as Emma finally kisses Evan. Thank you for being a part of our video. If these tales of mystery and intrigue sent shivers down your spine, Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more bone-chilling narratives. Stay tuned. And until next time, stay captivated.